Seeing my biological father at my his mother's funeral was a revelation for me. And I can't wait to tell my therapist. And when I saw him at first, before I even said words to him, he looked older, obviously, because I'm older. He's always been such a big man in my life, like tall, and he took care of himself, and he always had this vibe or this energy of being like so confident and sure of himself, even though he was an asshole and a bad parent. And when I saw him, he looked shorter, frailer, more frail, a little worn down, older. He's a little heavier, like he gained some weight. He's not fat, but I can tell he put on some weight. He didn't look as big, which is interesting. I took it to mean two things. One, of course, I'm older, so I've gotten bigger. But because I came there fully intending to have my Antoine Fisher moment, I'm still standing, I'm still strong, when he confronted his mom, which is how I pictured it in my mind. Standing up for myself and speaking up for myself and showing him, proving to him and myself that I turned out fine, didn't look the way I thought it was going to look. Isn't that crazy? When you finally stand up to your bully, you realize he's not a bully, but this is the comparison. You realize your bully's not such a big bad wolf. They turn into a pussycat. And it's not that he shied away from confrontation or anything like that, because there was no confrontation, and I'm certainly not about to have one at a funeral. I don't have to fight people to stand in my power, and I think that's a superpower for me. I don't need to use physical violence. I stood there with grace and with poise, and all I had to do was stand up for myself in ways I never did when I was growing up. Stand firm in my nose, say yes, and be direct at certain points. Not rude, not disrespectful, because that's not who I am. And his family and him were low-key fuming. There's nothing they could do about it. But they had to accept that this is this is who I am, and this is all I have to offer you in this time. And it's a no. And my answer is my answer, and that's it, period. I don't need to elaborate. I don't owe you an explanation, and I don't owe you anything more than that. And to my father, who, this is a whole story for another time. You are not without ways to contact me, is the way I processed a certain moment. And I know without any context, it might be a little. I was approached, me and my sister, in a way that was like, hey, he talks about you guys, which I don't believe. He might, but not in a way where he intends to step forward and be accountable and stand in that power. Because in my opinion, with him, and I guess a lot of people, without stepping forward and at least acknowledging that that you could have done better and what your issues are, and without an apology, there is no place for us to build. So yes, he has a way to contact me, is the way I see it. However, I was asked, but would you actually talk to him or entertain him? And it was hard for me to answer that question. It wasn't hard, because I really don't know how I would feel about starting that dialogue with him. And granted, it's a long road for that. However, he clearly would need to respect my boundaries. And the first step would be him to actually reach out. And once you reach out, if you are open and willing to accept accountability for your faults and what you could have done better and own that shit, then yes, we may have something we can build off of, in my opinion. But without it, you're exactly the same person. And as of right now, I feel like him, as well as several other people, are exactly the same people they were 15, 20 years ago. And the beauty of that situation is that, not that they are the same people, it's that I'm not. I am so far past them. And I don't say this as some point of pride, but it shows my progress and my development, and that I'm blossoming as a human being in the way I'm supposed to, in my growth. I've come so far. They had no choice but to respect my boundaries, and they hated it. So even though they smiled in my face, I can tell their demeanor changed, how they were asking questions changed, and they only wanted to invite me out to ask more questions, to pick and probe, so that they could make passive-aggressive comments and talk about me later. And I did not give them the opportunity. Have a nice day. Sorry for your loss. And of course, all you have to do is hit me up if you wanted to talk and chat. So kind of left it like that. Today's a good day. I'm exhausted. I've been on the road. I didn't get home until after 12, and I got to go to work today. But with that damn development, I mean, that is fucking long. That, y'all, I've been in therapy like a year and a half. That is therapy. That is growth. That is progress. That is me being a badass. That is me. I realized that this all happened also. I just think it's strange. Not that I wanted the passing of my grandmother, but I realized she was like 82. But I don't really know them that well. So I honestly didn't know she was 82 either. Brought me full circle, because a year ago, I had every intention to also go to Philly. And it was going to be sometime at the end of the year. I mean, granted, it got thrown off by a lot of things. And then I had to put a lot of energy into putting myself like back together in the way that I want, or rebuilding myself. I like rebuilding better, because I filled certain spaces with better things, with gold instead of clay or brick. And I would have either been angry and resentful, and I probably would have made passive aggressive comments. I was gonna say hopefully not, a year ago towards this family, or I wouldn't have gone at all and just festered in the treatment of my family for most of my life from them. But today, they're exactly who they are. They're still sitting back at home in that same house with the same line of thinking and that same toxic, nasty, codependent energy where they only support each other. They're so nasty. They're so, you can feel it. It radiated off of them. They're still exactly the same. They're like vultures who like try to fly around the dead. They're just trying to see if there was anything to pick at. And there wasn't. I have a long day ahead of me. I keep trying to close this out, but this turned out to be way longer than I thought. So, Mark looks smaller. He wasn't this big man anymore. Or maybe I just got bigger. I did. I grew physically. But I think it was mental and emotionally. That's why he's so small now. Okay, have a great day. I'm leaving. Bye.